Coming up tonight, will we soon have another alternative to burial or cremation? We'll tell you about it. Plus, new details in the death of a Wilmington toddler. And who will headline the Delaware State Fair this year? We'll have the names coming up. Those stories and much more straight ahead tonight on DETV News. Good evening and welcome to DETV News. I'm Matt Ford. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Making headlines today, Delawareans may soon have another alternative to burial or cremation after death. A bill to allow composting of human bodies passed the Delaware State House on a 37-2 vote on Tuesday. Chief Sponsor Representative Sean Lynn, a Dover Democrat, called the practice a gentle, respectful, and environmentally friendly death care option. Human composting, also called natural organic reduction, is a process that accelerates the natural process of turning a body into soil. It is currently legal in several states, and legislation has been introduced in more than a dozen other states. The process involves placing the body in a large tank with straw and other natural materials for about a month. Supporters say the process requires less energy than cremation and does not release harmful chemicals into the air. The bill now heads to the Delaware Senate for its consideration. Staying in Legislative Hall, a bill to change state tax brackets failed to make it out of committee this week. The House Revenue and Finance Committee split along party lines on House Bill number 233, sponsored by Majority Leader Mike Ramone, a Newark Republican. The bill would have raised the minimum income subject to income tax from $2,000 to $2,500 and collapsed the state's 6 income tax brackets down to 3. Ramone said the bill would give every resident some tax relief, but Democrats who dominate the committee questioned the loss of revenue to the state. Analysts estimate the new structure would cost the state general fund about $190 million in its first year, and then about $479 million in the second full year of implementation. And a former Democratic state senator has thrown his name into the ring for U.S. Senate seat currently held by Tom Carper, who, as you know, has announced his retirement. Anesthesiologist Dr. Mike Katz has announced his campaign today, Wednesday. The former senator for the 4th District has switched his affiliation to the Independent Party and was nominated by the group in the summer of 2023. At its convention, Katz is the only candidate officially on file with the State Department of Elections for the Senate seat, although both Democrat Lisa Blunt Rochester and Republican Eric Hansen have also declared for the race. And more than 30 tenants were relocated from their homes this week after the city declared Herring Manor apartment complex on North Market Street unfit for habitation. Lack of heat and hot water were the reasons the City Department of License and Inspections directed the building owners to immediately find alternative housing until the repairs can be made. The apartments are managed by AJPC Property Management, and tenants' monthly rents are subsidized by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, which is cooperating with the city and assisting with the relocation of residents. The 41-unit complex has a recent history of problems with the heating and hot water systems. After management was unable to permanently fix the problem, the city brought in a private contractor who told city officials the system needs a complete overhaul. It was not immediately known how long the repairs will take. City officials say fines will be imposed if those repairs are not made in a timely fashion. And horrifying new details have emerged in the case of a Connecticut man facing charges that he killed his girlfriend's 22-month-old daughter last year in Wilmington. 30-year-old Timothy Olszewski is now also charged with raping the toddler. Few details were provided in the indictment made public just last week, but the document did claim that he intentionally engaged in sexual intercourse with the child sometime between December 1st, 2022 and March 1st. when police were called to a Wilmington apartment in reference to CPR in progress involving a child. The little girl did later die that day. Olszewski was arraigned on the new charge this Tuesday when his bail was increased to $2.5 million cash bail. He currently remains at Howard R. Young Correctional Institution. And police are investigating several vehicle break-ins in the Claymont area. Police said the incidents happened Tuesday morning in the Darley Green community and at the Naaman's Woodstream Garden and Woodacre apartments. Police say items were stolen from several vehicles there, some of which had also damaged car windows. Authorities are asking anyone with information or surveillance footage connected to the crimes to please contact Detective Fitzgerald of the Criminal Investigations Unit. They're seen at the email address at the bottom of your screen. And a major drug bust as 3 men are facing multiple drug charges. State police arrested the men, all from Sussex County, after executing search warrants at 2 Seaford homes. The search warrants revealed crack cocaine, heroin, ammunition, and over $28,000 in suspected drug proceeds. 12 people were detained, 6 arrested for misdemeanors, while Ayers, Dugazan, and Desson, seen here, faced felony charges. Ayers was held on a $63,800 cash bond. Desson was released on his own recognizance, and Dugazan was initially released but later committed on a $15,000 cash bond for violating probation. And Delaware State Police arrested a 34-year-old New Jersey man for felony theft of fuel at a local Wawa. It was at the Wawa in Newcastle. Kelvin Brand was allegedly caught with Wawa fuel containers holding $1,700 worth of diesel fuel and a device which is installed in the pump and registers actually a much lower sale of fuel. Brand allegedly paid less than $20 for all the fuel that was found in his van. Multiple Wawa gas stations have reported these devices being used to steal the fuel. He was charged with felony shoplifting, possession of burglar tools, and conspiracy. He was committed to jail on a $14,000 secured bond. And an electrical malfunction in the back of a parked medic unit sparked a fire that destroyed a vehicle and damaged a second one. The state fire marshal's office says it happened at the Sussex County EMS station on Broadkill Road in Milton on Monday. Firefighters arrived to find the SUV and the carport under which it was parked engulfed in flames. Damage there was estimated at around $100,000. And an 85-year-old man was injured in a house fire just this afternoon on Wednesday in the 1700 block of West 14th Street in Wilmington's Trolley Square neighborhood. That's according to Newcastle County paramedics. Wilmington Fire Department responded shortly after 2 p.m. to the home and rescued the man and his dog from the blaze. The man was taken to the hospital with life-threatening burns. That's according to paramedics. There was no word on the dog's condition as of yet. The state fire marshal's office is investigating the cause of this blaze. And new housing units in Northwest Dover moved closer to construction this week with approval from the Planning and Zoning Commissions. Plans for Stonebrook East on the northeast corner of McKee and Denny's Road include just over 100 townhomes and 138 apartments, while Walker Road Apartments has 48 units. Stonebrook will total 241 units on nearly 46 acres of land. Proposed amenities include a clubhouse, a swimming pool, basketball court, playground, and walking trails. Walker Road Apartments will include 3 buildings with 24 units on each of nearly 7 acres of land. The City Planning Office must confirm that all requirements are met in the final site plans, and then applicants can apply for work permits to begin the construction there. And staying in Dover, a proposed change to handicap parking eligibility requirements has sparked some debate. Dover City Councilman Fred Neal proposes restricting additional handicap parking spots on public streets for disabled individuals with existing parking options like driveways, citing complaints of spot exploitation. Well, Councilman Brian Lewis expresses some skepticism, highlighting citywide concerns and questioning ADA compliance. Neal defends the proposal, emphasizing collaboration with ADA coordinators. Some residents who rely on handicap parking are expressing their reservations. In a recent meeting that was held, the proposal was deferred to the Public Works Department to gather more data on city handicap parking. We'll certainly keep you posted there. And before we leave you tonight, the music lineup is taking shape for the Delaware State Fair when it returns this summer, Thursday, July 18th to Saturday, July 27th. Organizers announced just this week that country artist Brantley Gilbert, pop icon Rick Springfield, and rap legend Ludacris will headline. Tickets will go on sale noon on this Friday, January 26th, while most of the others will go on sale next Friday. That'll be February 2nd. Topping our news today, Delaware Governor John Carney today unveiled a proposed roughly $6 billion operating budget for 2025 that keeps taxes flat while continuing investments in priority areas including public education, environment, communities, and government infrastructure. Rainy day funds and budgeting strategy avoided the need for any cuts or tax increases in fiscal year 2025. Carney did warn, however, that future budgets will be much tighter. The state is looking at declining revenues in years 2024 and 2025, but the Budget Stabilization Fund is expected to ward off the need for major cuts or increased taxes. Nearly 40% of the budget is healthcare costs, with both the state's portion of Medicaid and coverage for state employees and retirees. The budget sets aside $200 million to address future deficits with state health benefits. The budget includes $2.1 billion for K-12 education, including funds to increase starting salaries for teachers, expanding childcare and early education. The 2025 state budget dedicates nearly $130 million for environmental and climate action initiatives and also includes nearly $100 million for state police, courthouse, and public safety infrastructure improvements. Budgets must be approved by the legislature prior to the beginning of fiscal year on July 1st, 2025. And the annual State of the State address has been rescheduled after Governor John Carney had to cancel last week's originally planned event due to illness. Carney will now deliver his 2024 address from Legislative Hall on Tuesday, March 5th at 2 p.m. The event will be live streamed on de.gov/SOTS and on the governor's YouTube channel. And this week has seen several incidents of students bringing weapons to school. A 16-year-old John Dickinson High School student was charged with 4 felonies Wednesday after bringing a gun and ammunition to the Milltown school. Early Wednesday morning, a school resource officer was alerted by staff that the student was armed. According to police, the student was taken from a classroom and was found to have a loaded magazine on him and an unloaded gun in his backpack. Police said because there was no threat stated or implied, the school day did go on as usual. Parents were notified of the incident Wednesday morning. That's according to a district spokeswoman. The student was committed to the Ferris School on a $12,000 bond. Now, also today, Thursday, state police announced the arrest of a 15-year-old student. This comes 1 week after a 17-year-old Cape Henlopen High School student was arrested for bringing a loaded 9mm handgun to the school. The district called parents that day to inform them of the incident, and the school day also continued as normal. Also Wednesday, an 18-year-old Indian River High School student was arrested for bringing 2 folding knives and a THC vape in his backpack. The school's resource officer was alerted to the offense. The student was turned over to his parents and was charged with 2 weapon felonies and a misdemeanor for marijuana possession. He was released on a $2,000 secured bond. And new today, the Delaware Supreme Court has upheld the guilty verdict of former Wilmington police officer James McCall. He was convicted of providing false information about a gun used in the shooting of an unarmed teenager back in 2019. McCall's appeal, in which he argued for secrecy in police discrepancy and constitutional protections, was rejected. Last year, a jury found him guilty of felony false statement and misdemeanor official misconduct. Despite being acquitted of evidence tampering, McCall received a probationary sentence. The shooting was deemed legal, but McCall's lies about tampering with his service weapon led to charges and the conviction. And the Delaware Department of Justice can continue with its investigation into the theft of large amounts of ammunition from Cabela's now that a federal judge has sent the case back to state court. The Christiana sporting goods store lost about 500,000 rounds of ammunition from the sales floor over the course of 1 year. That's according to the Attorney General's office. The ammunition has since been moved behind a counter, but authorities want to know whether the retailer broke any laws. It is believed that the ammunition made its way to pawn shops as well as violent criminals. Attorney General Kathy Jennings said in a statement yesterday that the parent company of the store has been evading basic questions. She quotes that gun dealers need to take responsible steps to prevent gun violence. We are still waiting for evidence that Cabela did, end quote. And moving on, a bill that would require any business that provides pornographic material to verify the age of individuals accessing the material has cleared committee and now moves to the full Delaware House for consideration. Primary sponsor Mike Smith of Pike Creek said that the act is modeled after similar laws in Virginia, Utah, and Louisiana, and acts as a one-way to protect youngsters from harmful materials. Under the bill, any commercial entity that violates the verification guidelines will be subject to a civil penalty of $250 per violation. And a 29-year-old Milford man was charged with attempted murder by Dover police in connection to an altercation Sunday morning that was January 21st, and it happened at Dover Behavioral Health. Officers responded to the facility early Sunday morning and found a 64-year-old man there with life-threatening injuries being treated by medics. Police took Derek Chilikas into custody without any incident. He is being held at Sussex Correctional Institution on $200,000 cash bail. The victim was listed in critical condition at Bay Health Kent campus at last check. And state police are investigating a fatal pedestrian accident. It happened on Wednesday evening around 5:15 in Townsend on Route 13 near Blackbird Landing Road. Police say the 40-year-old victim, who was from Townsend as well, was wearing bright reflective clothing when they were hit. The car that hit them actually caught fire following the collision. The driver, a 36-year-old Dover man, is suspected of being under the influence of drugs. A 23-year-old woman and a 4-year-old child who were in the car at the time were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. And heads up for those who travel through or around the Newark area, construction crews are beginning to take significant strides in the reconstruction of the I-95 South College Avenue interchange in Newark. Beginning this week and lasting into mid-February, bridge girders will be put into place for the new flyover ramp from southbound I-95 to southbound Route 896. The placement of the large steel beams will be mainly at night, weather permitting, and will require overnight lane and ramp closures as contractors progress the north and southbound lanes of the interstate. DelDOT has a website where motorists can get updated information about lane restrictions, and you can see that here on your screen. And sticking with travel news now, the Delaware River and Bay Authority will spend about $6.6 million to improve and expand the Wilmington Airport Terminal. That's according to its 5-year capital investment plan. That is one of the 120 improvement projects costing $133 million at the Delaware Memorial Bridge, the Cape May Lewis Ferry, as well as other state facilities. The most expensive project involves designing and building new ferries, budgeted at around $110 million. And in a legislative move, State Senator Sarah McBride has introduced a bill to establish a student loan borrower bill of rights here in Delaware, potentially making us the 19th state with such legislation. The bill aims to protect nearly 130,000 student borrowers right here in the first state with an average debt burden of $37,000. McBride emphasizes the need for safeguards in the private student loan sector, which constitutes about 10% of the market. The proposed legislation not only bans unfair practices by loan servicers, but also creates the Office of the Student Loan Ombudsperson to investigate borrower complaints. Senator McBride sees immediate benefits in easing financial burdens, reducing defaults, and enhancing consumer protection. The bill's economic impact is highlighted with potential contributions to local economies and the state's appeal. It now moves from the State Senate Education Committee to the Finance Committee for further consideration. And it's not exactly a breath of fresh air when it comes to Delaware's performance in the most recent State of Tobacco Control report by the American Lung Association. In fact, it's quite a mixed bag. While receiving 2 F grades in tobacco taxes and flavored products, the state actually earned 2 A's for tobacco prevention and control funding, smoke-free air, and a grade of a B for cessation service to access. The American Lung Association acknowledges Delaware's relatively better ranking, but they're emphasizing the need to address tobacco use, which causes 1,440 deaths annually. The association recommends a $1 per pack cigarette tax increase and equalizing taxes on all tobacco products. This includes e-cigarettes. Officials note that higher taxes do correlate with reduced tobacco use, supporting the call for legislative protection and increased funding for prevention and quit smoking programs. And the chef and owner of one coastal restaurant down in Fenwick Island is actually a semifinalist for a James Beard Award in the Best Chef Mid-Atlantic category. This is Matt Kern's 3rd semifinalist nomination, receiving the same honor back in 2019 and 2020 while working at Heirloom in Lewis. Kern, who purchased the 50-seat eatery in 2022, is the only Delawarean that's nominated this year. The James Beard Awards are presented by Capital One to honor James Beard, America's first celebrity chef. The winners will be announced at a Chicago ceremony that's going to be June 10th. And calling all manufacturers of cool stuff in Delaware, the Delaware State Chamber of Commerce and its affiliate, the Delaware Manufacturing Association, have just announced a contest to name the coolest thing made right here in the first state. Nominations will be accepted until February 21st. Eligible companies are manufacturers whose nominated product is manufactured in a Delaware-based facility. On February 22nd, all qualifying nominees will be announced and the public will be asked to vote for their cool choice. The popular vote round ends on February 29th, and the top 16 products will compete in a bracket-style contest. The winner will be revealed at the Chamber's Spring Manufacturing and Policy Conference. That's going to be March 28th. For more information on this, visit the website seen on your screen. Very cool. And that's going to do it for tonight's edition of DETV News. Be sure to like and follow us across your favorite social media platforms. And for a look at what's happening around the state of Delaware, head to our website. That's detvch.com. With tonight's news, I'm Matt Ford. We'll see you again next week.